Outrage about boxing, confusion over a new monolith, and fears of a January wave. This is your TLDR News daily briefing for Monday 7th of December. In the first story today, we discuss yet another monolith. By now, we'll all remember the Utah monolith that started this whole saga. It was found in the middle of the desert, and there was a lot of speculation about who put it there and why. It was even revealed that it had been there for years, thanks to satellite images. Now, not long after this monolith was discovered, it disappeared, and another one appeared in Romania. Now though, a third mysterious monolith has been discovered on the Isle of Wight. This one was made out of wood with mirrors stuck to each side. It's been partly buried, which implies that a fair amount of effort has been expended on its placement. Many residents of the Isle of Wight have gone to the beach to take a look at the monolith that has hit national headlines for themselves. Although it appears to have inspired curiosity in the local area, it's also added the feeling of curiosity and confusion globally about what exactly these monoliths are and what they mean. Are they individual art installations? Are they all works from the same artist? Is the artist alive still? Will they claim ownership in the future? Or is this something completely different, like a sign that aliens have landed on Earth and are trying to send us a very, very poorly communicated message? Let us know your thoughts in the comments of this video. In the second story of the daily briefing today, we talk about boxing. We very rarely discuss sports news on this channel, but there's been some fairly big news about both boxing and the company responsible for a large portion of our revenue, YouTube. So it was hard to say no to its inclusion in the daily briefing today. This is because the widely anticipated fight between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and YouTube's very own Logan Paul has now been confirmed, following months of speculation. For those of you who aren't all that into boxing, we'll briefly discuss who both men are and what their history of the sport is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a veteran of the sport, having entered into 50 professional fights and coming out on top in every single one of them. Of his 50 wins, 27 were won by a knockout, which is an impressive feat. His 50th win was a somewhat unorthodox affair, as it was against an opponent new to the sport, Colin McGregor, whose background was actually in mixed martial arts. Logan Paul, on the other hand, rose to fame through vlogging on YouTube. His only real experience with boxing came in one amateur fight with KSI, in which he drew, and then a professional fight with KSI, in which he lost. It seems as though this fight is between the older, more experienced veteran and the younger, less experienced newcomer. Some will be excited for such a fight, but others are, well, less than happy. Some are feeling outraged that boxing is becoming dominated by amateurs, specifically from the YouTube community. One such outraged figure is Dana White, the president of UFC. He said, "When people ask me what's the state of boxing right now, that's where it's at. Didn't that kid get beat up by the video game kid from England, and now he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather?" Regardless, considering how much money Mayweather earned from his last fight, and the precedent set by previous YouTube boxing matches, both men are set for a big payday. The fight is scheduled for February 2021, and the pay-per-view fees are almost certainly going to line both men's pockets. In the third story of the daily briefing, we move back to the UK and discuss the possibility of a third wave of the coronavirus following the winter season. Andrew Hayward, Professor of Infectious Disease Epidemiology at the University College London and a member of SAGE, said that he found videos of crowded Christmas shopping areas concerning. He additionally stated that the pandemic is certainly not over. What makes this statement concerning is that Christmas is coming up, and many will be spending their time with family members and relatives in close proximity. This is thanks to the so-called Christmas bubble that was recently introduced by the government. And all of this is taking place right after a second peak, which was only reduced by a harsh lockdown, and at a time when the NHS traditionally already has a flu season to deal with. While it's currently unclear whether there will be a third wave, it makes sense to heed the advice of Professor Hayward and try and be sensible over the winter period in order to stop the virus spreading. Anyway, for those of you who think the news is too long, be sure to check out tomorrow's daily briefing. Read the newsletter by signing up at tldrnews.co.uk/daily. Listen to the briefing by searching for TLDR News in your podcast app, or watch the briefing over at youtube.com/TLDR Daily.